Hey gang, Roden here. Welcome on back to the Cade in episode 2 of our playthrough of Super Robot Wars 3 from 1993 as ported onto the Super Nintendo Entertainment System only in Japan, although this game was later re-released in Japan in June 1999 on the PlayStation 1 as part of the full classic box set for this franchise. You missed the first episode or missed the general gist of it. This is a franchise that has now spanned 3 decades. The core titles now span nearly 50 in number. They've done some ancillary ones. So the full catalog of Super Robot Wars games that have been created since 1991 is at 55 and counting. But it's a franchise that was never officially ported over to US consoles. The only reason why we have this one is because somebody way back in the day in the early 90s to or late 90s to early aughts, I should say, managed to fully translate the game. So it's one of the few games from this series that is out there that you can get in full English. The good news is there are more of them coming. There's a vast community that is out there who loves these games like I do, and very much wants to be able to play them fully translated. So, and especially with the advent of AI translations and things like that, the ability to create the means by which to do it, I'm thinking, is going to get a lot easier. The question is, who's going to put in the time and the energy to do it? Be that as it may, we got through our first mission in our first episode, and now we are getting ready to go into our second one. So what we did, like I said, between episodes, I said we were going to power up at least one of the mechs. What I did was I took Ambro Ray's original Mark I Gundam, or I should say the RX-78 Gundam, -02. I know my nomenclature when it comes to Gundam. And what I did was I upped his armor from 140 to 170, and I upped his reaction time from 140 to from 125 to 155. And it cost me 4,000 to do it. So he still didn't have a whole lot of hit points, but I'm hoping that he has better armor so he can take more damage and lose less hit points, and his reaction time will go up a little bit more so he can evade fire as it's coming in. Because the Gundam is relatively small by comparison to Mazinger and the Proto-Geta, I'm hoping he should be able to be more effective in combat. As I said at the end of the last episode, this machine, the Proto-Geta, is going to get replaced pretty soon with the full-powered standard issue Getter Robo. So once we get that sucker, that will change the ball game entirely. Mazinger, we don't have to worry about right now. He's an absolute tank in the best sense of the word. And then we've got these 3 smaller mobile suits as well. So something else that we can do in this game, if we choose to, and we'll do it as we go, is that you can sell off stuff that you don't want or you don't use. Obviously, I'm not going to get rid of these guys now, because especially the Gundam, because I need it. But these guys are critical to my fleet. So we were given the option at the end of last episode of taking 2 different routes to get to what's called Side 5, which is one of these orbital space colonies. One was going to go through the crux of the main fleet that is surrounding the area, which would have put us tactically at a disadvantage because we would have been outnumbered and outgunned. So we were hoping that we could be able to find a back door and go in that way. But inevitably, we are going to run into trouble. So now this is Night of Roses, Scenario 2. So we have 8 units we can choose from. Obviously, we're going to put out all 8 because they're what we got. And depending on the scenario and the stipulations of it, it will determine which different ones, how many different mechs you can deploy. So sometimes you can deploy 8 mechs, sometimes you can deploy 16. It all depends on the scenario and what all is required and what all is available to you. So you have to bear that in mind as well as you are going through and you are upgrading your mechs. that if you focus only on like 2 or 3 of them, like if I spent all my available capital purely upgrading Messenger or Getter and left all these smaller units wanting, they're going to get blown out of space so much easier, and that puts me at a massive disadvantage in every subsequent fight until I can get my hands on more mechs. Now, there are 16 different anime that are represented. I almost said cartoons. That would have been sacrilegious. There's 16 different anime that are represented in this series. We have 7 that are all Gundam related. We have Mobile Suit Gundam. We have 0080 War in the Pocket. We have 0083 Stardust Memory. We have Zeta Gundam, Double Zeta Gundam, Char's Counterattack, and F91. We also have Messenger Z, Great Messenger, and I'm really looking forward to when I get my hands on this bad boy again. We get Grendizer in this game, which as soon as I realized those sorts of mechs were in it, I'm like, oh, bring it on. So we have the Proto Getter right now. We will get Getter Robo, and eventually we will get Getter Robo G. We don't get Shin Getter in this one, although it is very prominent in pretty much every subsequent anime or every subsequent Super Robot Wars game that comes out after about, I think, 98 is when that series premiered. Alright, put him down. This was also the first Super Robot Wars series to preview or to feature Brave Raideen, as well as Combattler 5 and Invincible Steelman Daitarn 3. And then there's a couple of other ones that are just listed as original characters that were created for this game. They're called the Banpresto Originals. Banpresto was the original publisher for this game. It's been since taken over by Bandai Namco, which makes sense because Bandai Namco is the Japanese company that handles all the creation of all the really highly articulate and super detailed anime-related models and figures for all of these series. They have a line of different mechs that are all part of a series called Soul of Chogokin, of which I have far too many. Let's be honest. I've got way too many of them, and I've been collecting them for years. Ever since I got out on my own and was able to save up money, and ever since, honestly, since eBay became a thing, because that's predominantly where I was able to get them from. And I'll be the first to admit, they are not cheap, but also they're not cheaply built. Now, my only gripe about this game, and it's something that they worked out later on, is that when you are attacked, you don't get the luxury of choosing what weapon your opponent uses. You use against your opponent. So, like, in Messenger's case, I don't want him using the Breastfire because the Breastfire sucks up so much energy. And I'd much rather that Ryoma use the Getter Beam because it doesn't on the Proto Getter. Now, again, the question would be, okay, well, why aren't you playing one of those later games? As I mentioned, this is one of the few that is fully translated to English. So unless you can read fluent Japanese, and I can't, you would think, having watched as much anime as I have over the years, that I would be at least somewhat able to translate something. And I do know some Japanese, but I studied Japanese in high school, when it became available. The problem is that I went from being in middle school and Japanese wasn't an option. My only options for linguistics were, were Spanish or German, and I opted for German. Nothing against Spanish, just German seemed more interesting to me. Because deep down, what I really wanted to learn was Russian. I've been fascinated with Russian ever since I saw my first James Bond movie, because I thought if I learned Russian, then when I grew up, I could be a spy. Not a Russian spy, but I could spy on the Russians, because the Cold War was still going on. But yeah, by the time I got to high school and I could start taking Japanese, I'd already taken a year of German. So you're asking me to go from a very gruff European language into the complete antithesis of that, into Japanese, which is a truly, and I'm not trying to kiss up to the Japanese people in any way, but Japanese is a gorgeous language. But you're also expecting somebody who is coming into it now having to learn 3 different ways of saying a particular term to make it sound the right way for my being who I am, or writing things out in 4 different written alphabets, whereas I just spent a whole year learning how to write in German. So I didn't do well in it, let's just put it that way. And that worked exactly how I wanted it to. So my goal in having Mazinger sit here was that everybody glommed onto attacking him. And because he's robust enough that he can take that punishment, and what I want now is I want to lock on and I want to hit. So the problem now is that because I've used so much energy on the breast fire to put down all those bad guys, the only real option I have left is the photon beam, which is fine because it's gonna hit. But I'd much rather be able to do more damage than I did. Yeah, he's at 117. I will have this guy attack. And hopefully this will put him down. Nope, he whiffed. Fortunately, he can't shoot back. The beam saber should be able to do it because it will do more than 100 damage. It's just got to connect. And he whiffed. That is something that they did work on in later games as well, as they made the hit-to-miss ratios a little bit more kind. Not super kind, but just enough. So I'm at 91% here. I should be able to hit him. There we go. Put him down. Alright, bust out the hyper hammer. Ooh, that's not good. 39%. I'll be lucky if this connects. Nope. See if this armor works. Ooh. Alright, let's see if I can come around and hit him this time. Still 33%. Not good. And he's definitely going to hit me. Ouch! Not good at all. Alright, let's see if I can hit this guy. 70. Connect. There we go. See if I can give him a reason to go after white base and hit him as opposed to hitting me. Alright, repair you, because you desperately need it. Alright, 8, yeah, I still need to heal him up the rest of the way. I almost wonder if it might be worthwhile switch to Getter 2. Now, one of the nice things about having combination mechs like Getter is that depending on the configuration it's in, that can help assure what sort of damage you can do, and the pilot will be able to do different types of attacks. So, for example, the drill punch, hopefully this will do better. It's 41%, still not great. But I hit him. Sometimes better to be serendipitous than proficient. Now, Getter 2 is not designed to operate in space. Okay, so we have 3,900 credits. I'm thinking that up Messenger's energy output by 10, which isn't great, but all things considered, could be worse, and we didn't lose any mechs, and we're only at 20 minutes. Whoops, I hit the wrong button. Well, it's a good thing I saved it. Come on. All right, when in doubt, do a quick reset. There we go. Alright, so we will be entering Side 5 airspace shortly. Stand by. Did we make it in time? That is the question. I don't remember offhand exactly how many missions there are in this game, but on the average, these games can range from 35 to 60 different missions that you will run before the game is over. And this was the first title that had what was called the true boss ending, which there's nowadays it's so common to have different mission trees, and if you do one thing, then it will block off other stuff. This is one of the first titles that had that. So we've got a Mecha Beast here. We've got Zaku's here. These guys tend to be a little bit meatier, and they're not fun to deal with. We've got an enemy capital ship down here. We got these guys here. We've got this ship and these two. So they're trying to do what's called a pincer movement. They're going to try and move it and hit us this way. They're going to try and move it and hit us this way. And then all these guys are going to come around and do the same thing. So as you can see, we are grossly outnumbered and outgunned at this point in time, which I can only hope means we're going to have cavalry showing up at some point. And what I want to do is, at this point, is I want to close ranks. What will help me determine how I can proceed with this fight is having the enemy come to me. And I'll only know for sure when I see how they move. Now, if you look at the map here, or if you look at the key, you can have conditions by which you will lose the fight. So if all of your units are taken out, you lose. You take out the enemy, you win. Some things are a lot more complicated than that. Like, you can have specific units that you can't afford to lose in a fight. So that ship down there is where the nerve toxin we originally uncovered was, which means we have to go and get that ship as soon as we can. So those four are waiting. That ship is waiting. And these guys are holding stations. So looks like we have to take out these Zaku first. Which shouldn't be too super difficult. What I want to do is I want to soften them up. I want to bring Messenger over here. Take this guy out with the Getter Beam. Use the hyper hammer on this guy. And I whiffed at 91%. See, that is the very frustrating thing. See, if he hits me with a less than 50% hit option, I would have been nigh unhappy. But I've beaten this guy down enough. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Nope, he whiffed. I'm good with that. Have Sayla take, or no, it's Ryu take him out. Goodbye. Something else you can do in later games is if you have mechs of a similar type that are all within proximity of one another, they can start like grouping up and doing attacks on singular enemies. Which I don't remember if this is one that we can do that yet. And if not, then I'll deal with it as we go, but I do appreciate that Banpresto and Bandai over the years, as this series evolved, found ways to keep it fresh and keep it interesting and add features to it that made it more engaging to players. Look, the version I'm playing on my PS2, it has, you can build squads, you've got so many anime at your disposal, it's insane. I have so many toys to play with, that going back and playing this seems extremely rudimentary if I'm honest, but it's worth going back and playing because I have to remember where this franchise got its start. %. Can I hit it? Yes, I can. Oh, please, go after Amuro. I dare you. Now, because this mech here has a proper character's name on it, Emma Sheen, she is somebody that I'm pretty sure if I have Amuro talk to her, I will get her to flip. And if I can get her to flip, then that means I will have her on my side going forward for the rest of this fight. And then I will be able to get her, if I remember right, she's one of the Zeta Gundam pilots. And then I will have her available to me going forward. Puts him down. All right, so Emma's coming this way, which means she's going to go after Amuro. And I want to move Getter over here so he can help deal with those two guys to the southwest. Them over. All right. Now there's some variations of this where if you do, in later games especially, where if you are able to take out a certain number of enemies in a certain number of turns, you get bonus points or you get bonus items that can be given to you. They're not always easy either. And I don't think that there is a variation of that in this version of the game yet. Ow. Oh, I'll hit you. Don't you worry, I'll hit you. Ah, Leela's here. Oh, ow. And those samurai mechs are tough. Let's see if I can make this work. Yep. Talk to her. Oh, only 26%. The Getter Beam is super powerful, but... Oh! Not good. But that's why I want to keep that here, because this way he'll do enough damage. No, he still didn't take the Marasai out. Alright, he needs repairs and pronto. See if I can put him down. He can't hit me from there, but this should. Oh yeah. That will be more than sufficient. So then I can have the cleanup crew come in. Take him out. Now, if I whiff on 95%, I will be unpleased. Nope, I got him. Alright, hopefully you miss, and you didn't. Damn it. Hopefully this won't hurt too much. This is gonna hurt. Alright, Sayaka could hopefully take the punch. Nope. Okay, so she's gonna go that way. Right now, I need... Well, it's gonna be a coin flip. Don't hit me back. Definitely use Master to put this thing down. And with 32 hit points left to it, I can hopefully... use him to knock him out. That'll be a hefty amount of experience for him. Yeah, I should use that. All right, let's try this again. I seem to have better luck using Getter 2 on these guys than I did with Getter 1. Here's hoping. 37%. Not good. But I got him. But he's gonna get me too. Ouch. And he definitely needs a boost. 16%. That's not looking pretty. And he's definitely going to hit me. Okay, let's see if we can't get through this turn. Don't hit him, thank you. One thing about the AI in this game is that it will tend to go after the low-hanging fruit of what it thinks it can take out most easily, which in a lot of ways can help you out. Then right there is Hayato bought it. So she's going into the ship to check it out. And my red shirts are just about gone. Let's see if I can... Well... The Mega Particle cannon is like the Getter Beam. It can do a lot of damage, but it does not tend to hit well. Will the Rocket Punch work? 37%. Will the Getter Drill work? Alright, it's better than 50-50. But I missed. Oh, and I didn't heal him, and now I lost Getter. Oh boy, now I'm in a world of hurt. That's something you have to keep a very close eye on in this game. And I didn't do it there. Whiffed again. And she's not gonna hit him. This isn't good. I am definitely gonna need some help here. Alright, so what I need to do is I need to move him up here. I gotta be able to lock on and hit him. Can I take him out? 37%. Odds aren't good. But I hit him. So I think I've worn him down to the point where I'm doing as much damage to them as they can do to me. Ah! I can't afford white base taking that much punishment either. So now it's 77%. And he's down to 11%. He's at 11 hit points left. Really? Alright, I'll lock on and knock him out. Move the gun cannon onto the ship. Bust out the beam saber, and this is guaranteed to hit, and this will put him down. Well, I'm definitely not going to get a whole lot of credits out of this fight. But crucially, I can move these guys on board. Start coming down this way to hit this capital ship. So as we can see, we've got the Aphrodite, the Messenger, the Gundam. We got a 50-50 shot of hitting this thing. Oof. All right, we're definitely gonna need to get out of range of this thing. Oh boy. Alright, so we can bring Messenger out. Have Aphrodite immediately repair the white base. Oh, and he's still going to try and hit us from here. Okay, well, that's good to know. Alright, he's going to go after that gun cannon. Ooh, guy just took it broadside. Now, the only problem with going back on the ship is that it does not replenish your SP. It replenishes your energy, but not your special ability. Use the hyper bazooka. He gets out of the way of that. Alright, we'll send Ryu out. If anything, he might be a distraction long enough for me to not get hit by those cannons. That's exactly what I thought he was going to do. As long as he doesn't hit him, which he did. He said knowing exactly what was going to happen. Fortunately, he missed on that one. I think I only hit him for 10 on that. Jeez. Alright, at this point, I'm going to have to move him closer. Just because I need that distraction again. Hopefully this will get close to putting him down. There we go. If this hits him for 10 points again, I'll be not happy. Oh, crap. An Amuro bought it. Oh, man. Which means I'm going to have to move white base back out, because if he blows up, then that's it. %71 chance. And it does 1 point of damage. And there goes the gun cannon. So it's all down to Mazinger to take this thing down. And that's how brutal this game can be. It can be really unforgiving. Alright, I gotta hope this does enough damage. Nope. Maybe this will do it. 64%. I just got to hit it with one missile. And it does 1 damage. Unbelievable. And I knew he was going to have to go over Sayaka. As long as he doesn't hit her. But he did. I'm going to get no credits out of this. None at all. One of us is going down. And luckily, it's him. Oh my god. That took way too long. Way too long. So now I have to deal with Char, who's still sitting way up there and hasn't moved. And I have all of 1 mech. I was hoping I would be able to convince those 4 mobile suits to actually come over and fight with me. It turned out they didn't. Alright, what is Char going to do? Char's going to go after Messenger. And this thing has only 2,800 hit points. Which means... I should be able to put it down right here. Almost. Yeah, I can't afford for that thing to get any damage to it. It is almost gone. Messenger could take this thing out. My goodness. So how much are we going to lose in repairs? Urgent message from headquarters. Put it through. Worst possible situation has occurred. Federation's main military base is almost completely destroyed. Jabba doesn't have much time left. We don't know exactly who the enemy is. Force that attacked us was a mixed group of mobile suits and others. Only forces we have left are the Londo Bell. Wreck a Rod with the 8th Fleet. Attack destroyed by unknown force. We're the only ones who escape, and just barely. Two Nemos and a Methus. And we finally get Getter Robo. So we finally get the standard Mark 1 Geta as opposed to the Proto Geta. But as you see, we are going to lose out of that cash reserve quite a lot. But now we have the proper Getter 1, Getter 2, and Getter 3. So that's going to help out a lot in this next fight. Plus we have the Methus, and we've got some other mechs that we can swap pilots into. If I remember right, the Nemo, yeah, that's a lot better than those GM suits that we had initially. So what I will do, like I said, now because we're over an hour already, because we end up cramming 2 missions into 1 episode. In the next episode, we will work out how we're going to allocate all those funds we got. We'll swap some pilots around, and we'll get ready for mission 4. But, again, thank you very much for tuning into this playthrough, and we will talk to you in the next one. My name is Ronan. Have a good rest of your day. Be safe, be well, happy gaming. We'll see you then. Bye.